Hello and welcome to this new Diablo 4 video where I collected all the necessary tips and tricks for you to beat Ashava during the server slam and get the mount trophy Ashava's Cry for release. So if you want to beat Ashava and need a few handy tips and tricks to make this fight as easy as possible, you're in the right place. So before we take on Ashava in the Crucible, we'll head over to town to get some preparation done. Let's start with the most important thing of all. You have to reach level 20. Without reaching level 20, you won't get Ashava's trophy. So if you're here for the server slam and to beat Ashava to earn the Ashava's Cry mount trophy, then you have to be level 20 when you beat her. You can't be level 19, you can't be level 5 or 10 or get carried by your friends or somebody else. You have to get to level 20 first, and then you have to beat Ashava. So get to level 20 with your character and then take on the challenge. And then if you have time, you can go around Sanctuario or the Fractured Peak Zone and collect Altars of Lilith. They'll give you an extra buff to your core stats. So strength, intelligence, willpower and dexterity, you all can get extra bonus stats for them. So if you have time and want to collect the Altars of Lilith, I have a cool little tip for you. Check out the interactive map of Diablo 4's Sanctuario and the Fracture's Peak on mapgenie.io. Here you can hide all, first of all, and then you can just activate all the stuff you really want to see. So waypoints, strongholds, dungeons, and of course the altars. So they're now all highlighted on your map. And if you create an account or log into it, then you can check off the things you've already found. So that's really helpful. You can then go ahead and I think with a free account you have 100 check marks you can set. So that's enough to collect all the altars. And then you can go around and collect all those altars for some extra bonuses to your character stats. That's really neat. If you're on mouse and keyboard, I have a quick settings tip for you. Go to your options and then to controls. And then scroll down until you see Force Move. That's right after your skill slots. You should bind any key. I've used the middle mouse button for this. That is because then if you have this key bound, you can move without attacking. So if you have Ashava right over here, for example, and you want to move to her, you can't click on her. And because she's so big, you always will attack her if you have the option to use a ranged attack. So while pressing middle mouse button, I can move freely without attacking her. And during the fight against Ashava, that's really invaluable. So you should definitely use this option and key binding. Next up, we're gonna take a look at our gear. So you should definitely focus on gear that gives you poison resistance. So as you can see here, I've got nothing here, but on my boots, I've got 11% poison resistance. And that should be as high as you possibly can get it. A good way for this is to look at your jewelry. They always have resistances on them, and especially the rings can roll high resistance values against poison. So check those out especially. And then check for gear or jewelry that has empty sockets for gems, because you can put gems in them that give you poison resistance additionally. So the green gems, the emeralds, give you 11.5% poison resistance. If you've got lots of them, you can combine them to the more powerful chipped emerald. They give you 14.3% poison resistance. But if you've got only, I don't know, like 3, you can craft only 1 chipped. So you shouldn't do it because you lose on actual poison resistance. If you've got more than 3 or let's say more than 9, go ahead and combine them and put them in each of your jewelry. But if you got less, don't combine them and use the crude emeralds instead. Another thing you should definitely check before you start the fight against Ashava is at the blacksmith if any of your gear needs repairing. So if so, go ahead, repair your equipment before you head over to Ashava, because you don't want to start the fight, then die once or twice, and then have to basically go back to town and repair your stuff because it's broken and you don't deal any damage. So check first before you head over to the Crucible. Also, if you're in the Crucible and the fight against Ashava has already started, don't teleport back to town if you're a solo player. If you're in a group, that's fine. The server or the instance stays active. But if you teleport back or leave the area as a solo player and then go back through your portal back to the Crucible, you might end up changing servers and won't be able to go back to your instance or to your fight. And that might be a good thing, but it also can be a bad thing if you get into a group that isn't as strong as your previous one, and maybe you won't be able to kill Ashava that way. So just stay in the area and don't teleport back. Also, don't forget to level up your potion a second time when you hit level 20. So go to Verka and then upgrade your potion at level 20. And then you can also buy another elixir for poison resistance. So that gives you 15% poison resistance on top for 30 minutes. So go ahead and buy one of these and then use it before the fight against Ashava. And now, before we head over to Ashava, come back to Kyovashat, to the world tier statue of Inarius, and don't be ashamed to lower the difficulty to Adventurer. We're 5 levels under Ashava. Ashava is level 25, we're only at level 20, so why make it hard on you and go in on Veteran mode or Veteran difficulty if you can just lower the difficulty to Adventurer and even the odds a bit? You should definitely do that before you go to the fight. I mean, we're all here just to get the trophy, right? So if you're not up for the challenge and just want the trophy, go ahead and lower it to World Tier 1. Now let's start with the fight against Ashava, and I have prepared some clips for you so we can check out her moves together and talk about them and what strategies work best against her and her attacks. If you want to revive your teammates, you can totally do so, like I just did, but always consider her remaining health and the damage output you've done and the time left, and then consider if it's worth reviving somebody or rather making more damage because you need it to complete the fight. So reviving is totally fine if you're good on DPS. So let's start with one of her basic moves, the leap, where she just jumps from one side of the arena to another, not targeting anybody specific, but just moving away from you. And you should always try to catch up to her as fast as possible, because all her subsequent attacks, like the spin, will really hurt you if you're not really near to her. So you should always try to stay between her 2 rear legs, right here. That's the best position you can have, so always try to move according to her. I always used my class's movement ability, like the Sorcerer's Teleport here, to move according to her and to catch up to her as fast as possible. Next up, we've got a really basic attack from her. It's her slam, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Just try to avoid the area that's highlighted on the ground. She always raises her left arm and slams to the ground. Just move away, use your dash, or try to avoid it at any time. It will really hurt you, but it's easy to dodge. Next up, we've got another basic attack. That's her bite. Here you can see she hit me with her slam. I just ran into it, and then she targets me specifically. She turns her head to me and then she bites me. And this bite can really hurt. It can one-shot you at full health, but you can also avoid it pretty easily. Just try not to be in front of her. Always try to be right between her legs. It's just about positioning. This fight is all about positioning. Just be always between her legs. Here you can see the bite a little bit more clearly. She targets a player specifically, then she opens her mouth, the venom drips out of her mouth, and then she bites. So try to avoid that attack at any time. Now let's get to the attack that probably killed the most people during the beta phases. That's her 360-degree slash attack with her arm, and then following up with a 180. So it's easily readable and you can avoid it pretty good if you know when she will do it. So just look at her arms. She always raises her left arm. It's always the left arm first. And then she does a 360 slash with this arm. Then she raises the right arm and follows up with the 180. And again, if you're near her rear legs, then you're pretty solid. So you can stay right between her legs and then you should be good at any time. And as the fight progresses, Ashava will do some more attacks she didn't do at the beginning, like the spit. It's really dangerous because it can one-shot you if you're right in front of it and standing right in the middle of it. So try to avoid it at any time. Always the same method. try to position yourself between her legs and not in front of your head, then you should be good. But it's also really easy to read because she telegraphs it pretty heavy by raising her upper body and then dripping venom out of her mouth, and then she just spits in front of her. If you've skilled into poison resistance, you should be good and it shouldn't hurt that much, but always try to avoid it with standing between her legs. And another really strong attack is the double. That's what I call it, at least. That's where she rams both her fangs into the ground and slices them besides her body to her back or to her rear. And that's also pretty easy avoidable. You can, just like I did, stand between her legs, but you have to position yourself really good. First of all, try not to get hit by her two fangs. You can see the circles on the ground pretty good, so try to avoid these. And then, if she slices to her rear, try to stand right in the middle of that slice. So if you're right here between her legs, you won't get hit. You will get hit here in this area, she will hit you, but if you're right between her legs and right in the middle, she won't hit you. But that's a pretty big bet, as you can see in this clip. I thought I was right in the middle, but it can always hit you anyways. See, here I died. So I think the best thing you can do is just to try to move to the side if she does the attack. Like I did in this clip, she rams her fangs into the ground, I move to the side, and then I continue attacking her right between her legs. And that's probably the best and safest strategy for this attack. Just try that. If you're confident you're standing right in the middle and you won't die, you can do that too. But just to be sure, I would move to the side. So that's it. If you follow all the information in this video, prepare yourself a little bit for the fight and then just try to read her attacks and position yourself well, then you should be good and should easily be able to kill Ashava even with level 20. So go ahead and go get the trophy. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, a thumbs up would be really appreciated. And if you want to see more Diablo 4 videos from me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to never miss a video. That's it from me for now. I hope you all have an awesome day and I'll catch you in the next one.